The spaceport of Aurora Station gleamed like a crystal in the void. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered between docking bays, their engines humming a soft symphony of energy. Aliens of countless species walked across the metallic walkways, some floating gracefully, others clumsily hopping from one platform to another. Their colors and forms were as varied as the stars themselves. Blue-skinned beings with multiple eyes, creatures with translucent bodies, and towering figures whose voices rumbled like distant thunder. Among them all, one alien moved with quiet determination, yet her presence seemed invisible. Lyra's wings shimmered in the light, crystalline and fragile, reflecting the station's glow. They were magnificent to look at, but they did not work as they should. Her left wing twitched awkwardly when she tried to lift herself, and her right one dragged slightly behind. Every time she attempted to fly, she felt a sharp pang of disappointment. The other aliens had long since learned to ignore her, whispering cruel comments behind her back. "Look at her," a purple-skinned alien sneered to his companion. "She thinks she can race with the best?" Pathetic, Lyra clenched her fists. She hated the mocking tones, but she hated herself even more for failing to take flight like the others. She had dreamed of exploring the stars, of soaring through nebulas and visiting planets no alien had ever set foot on. Yet each attempt ended in humiliation. Today was supposed to be no different. The intergalactic flight trials were about to begin, and Lyra had signed up despite knowing she would be judged harshly. Aliens with perfect wings and sleek bodies lined up, ready to race through the three-dimensional course that twisted and turned around the station. Spectators floated in designated areas, cheering and wagering credits on their favorites. Lyra stood at the starting point, her small frame surrounded by competitors who looked like gods of the skies. She took a deep breath, feeling the metallic floor beneath her claws. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, though her voice trembled. The race began with a sharp whistle. Most aliens shot forward instantly, weaving effortlessly through the twisting course. Lyra's wings quivered as she tried to lift off. For a brief moment she hovered a few inches above the platform before a sudden imbalance sent her crashing onto the floor. Laughter erupted from the crowd. Lyra's cheeks burned as she scrambled to her feet. "It's okay," she muttered, trying to hide the sting in her eyes. But inside, a storm of anger and sadness brewed. From the sidelines, a human watched quietly. Ethan had only recently arrived at Aurora Station. Humans were rare in these parts, often regarded with curiosity or mild suspicion. He had studied alien cultures, learning their ways, their customs, and their unspoken rules. But something about Lyra caught his attention. Not her failure, but her determination. Every time she fell, she got back up, refusing to give in. "Why does she keep trying?" he murmured to himself. Lyra glanced at the crowd, sensing someone observing her differently. Her gaze met Ethan's. His eyes held no mockery, only interest in something she couldn't name. For the first time that day, she felt a spark of hope. After the race ended, Lyra sat alone near the edge of the viewing platform. She watched ships land and take off, their pilots chatting and laughing, oblivious to her presence. Tears threatened to fall, but she refused to let them. She had been rejected for too long. Ethan approached slowly, careful not to startle her. "Hi," he said softly. "I saw your attempts. You didn't give up." Lyra looked up, surprised. "Why would you care?" "Everyone else does," he smiled faintly. "I'm not like everyone else. I think it's brave to try, even when others laugh." Lyra hesitated. She had spent so long being ignored that kind words felt foreign. I'm not good like the others. My wings." She gestured at them and Ethan nodded. "They're beautiful," he said simply, "and they're part of who you are. That matters more than perfect flight." For a moment, Lyra didn't know how to respond. Most beings only noticed her disability. Ethan noticed her courage, her spirit, her dreams. That alone was enough to make her heart beat faster. "Do you really think I can do something great?" she asked quietly. "I don't just think it," Ethan replied. "I believe it." Lyra studied him. Humans were fragile compared to many alien species, but Ethan had a calm strength. There was confidence in the way he spoke, not arrogance, just certainty. It was a rare quality. "You want to be my friend?" she asked, almost whispering. Ethan shrugged, smiling. "More than that. I want to bond with you," Lyra blinked. "Bond? It's a connection," he explained. "It's hard to describe. Two beings can share thoughts, feelings, even some abilities. It's risky, but it can change both of us." Lyra's mind raced. Bonding was rare. often done only between those who truly trusted each other. Could she trust a human, someone so different? She had been hurt and rejected so many times. Yet something about Ethan felt different. I'll try, she said finally. Ethan nodded. Good, take your time. We'll do it slowly. Over the next few hours, they began the process. Lyra felt a strange warmth spreading through her mind, a tingling that made her senses sharper. She could sense Ethan's thoughts, not all, just the calm reassurance he offered. At first, it was overwhelming. Her own thoughts seemed loud in comparison. But soon she began to feel a connection, subtle and steady, like a heartbeat she could rely on. For the first time, Lyra's wings responded in a new way. A gentle flutter lifted her slightly off the ground, steady enough to hover for a few seconds. Her eyes widened in amazement. I can feel it, she whispered. I can actually feel myself flying. Ethan grinned. I can feel it too. Your courage, your heart. It's incredible. They practiced together for the rest of the day. Lyra learned to balance her wings, even lift herself higher than ever before. It wasn't perfect yet, but it was a start she had never dared to hope for. As the sun of Aurora Station dipped behind the glass dome, painting the sky with shades of purple and gold, Lyra and Ethan sat side by side. The crowd had gone, and the station was quieter now, save for the soft hum of engines and the distant chatter of night crews. I never thought anyone would see me, Lyra said softly. I see you, Ethan replied simply, and I'm not going anywhere. For the first time in her life, Lyra felt a warmth that had nothing to do with her wings. She felt valued. She felt chosen. And in the vast galaxy, where she had always felt small and powerless, that choice gave her a strength she never knew she had. The stars twinkled beyond the dome, infinite and mysterious. Lyra gazed at them, her mind alive with dreams she had almost given up on. She would explore them one day. She would soar through the galaxy, not despite her disability, but because she had the courage to try, and because someone believed in her. Ethan watched her, smiling. He knew that this was only the beginning. Lyra's journey was just starting, and together they would face the galaxy in ways no one had imagined. As night fell over Aurora Station, the once rejected alien no longer felt invisible. She was chosen, and for Lyra that made all the difference in the universe. The next morning, Aurora Station buzzed with activity. The hum of engines, the chatter of aliens from every corner of the galaxy, and the flashes of light from landing ships created a living symphony of energy. Lyra stood near a docking bay, her crystalline wings glinting under the station's bright lights. For the first time, she did not feel the crushing weight of judgment. Ethan was nearby, observing her quietly, a calm presence that made her feel grounded. Ready for today? Ethan asked, stepping beside her. Lyra hesitated. I think so. But what if it doesn't work? What if my wings fail again? Ethan shook his head gently. It will work. We just need to trust the bond and each other. It's not just about flying. It's about connection, about understanding each other in ways that words cannot describe. Lyra looked at him, the strange warmth from their bond still lingering in her chest. Connection. Like sharing thoughts. Yes, Ethan said. And more. Sharing emotions, understanding instincts, helping each other in ways no one else can. That's why bonds are rare. They require trust, courage, and care. Lyra swallowed hard. I want to try. Ethan smiled and extended his hand. Then let's begin. They moved to a quiet observation deck far from the bustling crowds. The deck overlooked the vast expanse of space, filled with sparkling stars, floating ships, and glowing nebulae. Lyra stood still, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. She had never experienced anything like this before. Ethan placed his hand lightly on her shoulder. Close your eyes, he said softly. Breathe slowly. Feel your wings, feel your heart, feel the space around you. Let me in and I'll let you in too. Lyra obeyed. She closed her eyes and focused on the rhythm of her own breathing. She felt Ethan's presence, calm and steady like an anchor in the void. Tentatively, she reached out with her mind, allowing the connection to deepen. The first moments were strange and confusing. She felt a rush of sensations, thoughts, emotions, and even subtle images that were not hers. But she also sensed Ethan's care, his patience. It's okay, he said gently. You don't have to control it all. Just feel. Lyra did. Slowly, her wings began to twitch with new energy. A warmth spread through her body, and she felt a sense of balance she had never known before. She lifted her left wing tentatively, then the right. For a brief second, she hovered a few inches above the platform. I'm flying, she whispered, a mix of disbelief and joy in her voice. You are, Ethan confirmed, and it's only the beginning. For hours they practiced together. Ethan guided her through mental exercises, helping her control the subtle currents of energy that flowed through her crystalline wings. He encouraged her to trust her instincts and to listen to the bond they shared. Lyra discovered that she could anticipate his thoughts, his suggestions, even without words. She began to soar higher, twisting and turning gracefully through the observation deck, feeling the exhilaration of flight for the first time. This is amazing, Lyra breathed, laughing as she hovered and spun in the zero-gravity chamber. I never thought I could feel like this, Ethan smiled. It's all inside you. I'm just helping you see it. Their bond deepened with every passing hour. Lyra felt more confident, more alive. She began to understand that her disability did not define her. It was part of her, yes, but it did not limit her potential. With Ethan by her side, she could overcome challenges she had once believed were impossible. However, not everyone at Aurora Station approved of their bond. Whispers began to circulate through the docking bays and observation decks. Aliens passed comments to each other, some incredulous, others openly hostile. Did you see that human bonding with a disabled alien? One tall, green-skinned alien asked. It's unnatural. It shouldn't happen. They're weakening the standards, replied another purple-eyed alien. No alien should rely on a human for power. Lyra overheard a fragment of the conversation. Her heart sank for a moment, but she reminded herself of Ethan's words. Trust, courage, and care. That was stronger than whispers and fear. By mid-afternoon, news of their bond had reached the central hub of the station. A few aliens approached, curious, cautious, or openly skeptical. Some stared, eyes wide with disbelief. Others muttered insults, shaking their heads in disapproval. Ethan stayed close to Lyra, offering silent support. Ignore them, he said quietly. They don't understand. That's their fear, not your reality. Lyra nodded, but she could not help the pang of doubt that crept into her mind. What if they never accept me? What if I'm always rejected? You won't be, Ethan replied firmly. You're stronger than that, and even if some never accept you, you have me. You have your courage, and you have the bond. That is more than enough. The hours passed, and the observation deck gradually emptied. Lyra and Ethan took a moment to rest, floating together in the low-gravity chamber. The stars outside glimmered, endless and mysterious. Lyra felt a sense of calm she had never experienced before. I feel different, she said softly, like I'm not invisible anymore. You're not, Ethan replied. You never were. Some just needed time to see it. As they trained, a sudden alarm blared throughout Aurora Station. Red lights flashed and a loud announcement echoed through the corridors. Attention. Warning. Small asteroid cluster approaching Docking Bay 10. All personnel evacuate immediately. Lyra's wings twitched instinctively. We have to help, she said, her heart racing. Ethan nodded. We can. Together. They raced toward the docking bay, their bond allowing them to coordinate perfectly. Lyra lifted off the ground, her wings steady and powerful for the first time. Ethan's presence guided her, helping her anticipate movements, avoid debris, and respond to emergencies with precision. At the docking bay, chaos had already begun. Crew members scrambled to secure ships, while smaller transport vessels drifted dangerously close to the incoming asteroids. Lyra hovered above, assessing the situation. She could see the energy currents around the asteroids, subtle ripples of gravitational force. Normally this would be overwhelming, but through the bond, she felt Ethan's calm focus and her own instincts sharpened. Move the smaller ships first, Ethan instructed. I'll stabilize the energy currents. You guide the crews, Lyra nodded, heart pounding. She directed the alien crews, using her enhanced perception to anticipate movements and prevent collisions. Her crystalline wings glowed faintly as they resonated with the energy currents, helping her nudge debris safely aside. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. By the time the last asteroid had safely passed the docking bay, the chaos had subsided. Crew members cheered, some looking at Lyra with astonished admiration. You saved us, a small alien exclaimed, eyes wide. Lyra felt a rush of pride and relief. For the first time, she realized that her abilities, combined with trust and courage, could make a real difference. Ethan hovered beside her, smiling. You did it, he said. You didn't just fly, you led, you guided, you saved lives. Lyra's heart swelled. She had faced rejection, ridicule, and doubt. But through it all, she had discovered her own strength. And for the first time, she understood that being chosen, being seen, was more powerful than any judgment or prejudice. As the station settled back into its normal rhythm, Lyra and Ethan drifted toward the observation deck again. She looked out at the galaxy, its endless stars and distant worlds reflecting in her eyes. "Do you think I could really explore the stars?" she asked quietly. "I know you can," Ethan replied, "and one day you will." Lyra smiled, a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. The bond had not only given her strength, but it had given her hope, a rare and precious gift. She had been rejected by so many, but she had been chosen by one, and that choice made all the difference. The night sky stretched endlessly beyond Aurora Station. Lyra's wings shimmered faintly, filled with newfound energy. She had learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to rise above it. With Ethan by her side, she felt ready to face whatever the galaxy might throw at her. And for the first time, Lyra believed that her journey was only beginning. The hum of Aurora Station was louder than usual. Word had spread about Lyra's bond with Ethan, and many eyes were on her. Some watched with curiosity, others with thinly veiled hostility. Whispers followed her through corridors, and more than once, she caught glimpses of alien expressions that ranged from skepticism to outright contempt. Lyra felt the tension pressing against her chest, but she reminded herself of Ethan's presence. Wherever he was, the bond anchored her. She could feel his calm determination, his belief in her. That was enough to steady her wings. "This is going to be difficult," Ethan said softly as they moved toward the central plaza. "Some of the aliens will never understand. They fear what they do not know." Lyra nodded. "I know, but I won't let their fear control me." Their first challenge came sooner than expected. A group of council enforcers, tall and imposing aliens with glowing markings, blocked their path. Their leader, a sleek violet-skinned figure with 3 piercing eyes, regarded Lyra with disdain. "Human and disabled alien bonding is forbidden in this sector," he declared, his voice cold. "You must cease this immediately." Lyra's wings trembled, but she held her ground. "We are not harming anyone," she replied. "The bond strengthens both of us, and it allows me to grow beyond my limitations." The enforcer's eyes narrowed. "Limitations are not excuses for breaking the rules. You will be reported to the council for judgment." Ethan stepped forward. "We are not breaking rules," he said firmly. "We are demonstrating what can be achieved when beings trust each other." The enforcer looked at him as if he were speaking nonsense. "Your confidence will not protect you." Lyra took a deep breath. She could feel Ethan's support through the bond, steadying her nerves. "Then let them watch," she said. "I will prove myself, not just to you, but to anyone who doubts me." Before the enforcer could respond, a sudden alarm blared through the station. Red lights flashed across the walls, and automated messages warned of a rogue asteroid cluster approaching the station. Panic rippled through the crowd. Small ships scrambled to avoid collisions, and crew members rushed to secure vital systems. Lyra's instincts surged. "We have to help," she told Ethan. He nodded. "We will, together." With a graceful push of her wings, Lyra lifted off the platform, hovering above the chaos. Ethan's presence guided her movements, allowing her to anticipate collisions, sense energy currents, and communicate silently with the station crews. The bond gave her abilities she had never known, reflexes faster than her own body had ever allowed, perceptions attuned to the smallest shifts in her surroundings. "Move that transport vessel," she shouted, directing a hovering craft away from an incoming asteroid. Her wings shimmered with energy, and she felt the joy of flying fully for the first time. Ethan steadied a cluster of smaller asteroids using his own energy manipulation, a rare human ability that the aliens barely understood. Lyra marveled at how seamlessly their bond allowed them to work together, moving as one without words. Hours passed in minutes as they guided ships, directed crews, and prevented collisions. When the last asteroid had passed, the station erupted in cheers. Crew members floated toward them, gratitude and amazement in their eyes. "You saved us," a small alien exclaimed. "I never thought a disabled alien could do this." Lyra felt a swell of pride. Her heart raced, not from fear this time, but from triumph. She had not only survived, she had led and protected, Ethan hovered beside her, smiling. "You did it," he said. "You weren't just flying, you were guiding everyone safely. That is courage." But not all eyes were filled with admiration. From the shadows, the violet-skinned enforcer watched, his 3 eyes narrowing in suspicion. Lyra's success only deepened his disapproval. Some council members would celebrate her courage, he thought, but others would see her as a dangerous anomaly, a challenge to their rigid traditions. The next day, the whispers intensified. Aliens crowded the observation decks and docking bays, pointing, murmuring, and sometimes openly mocking. "Did you see that?" A blue-skinned alien with translucent limbs asked another. "She saved lives, yet they still call her weak." "She is different," replied another green-eyed alien. "And humans should not meddle in alien affairs. It is unnatural." Lyra overheard the words but refused to let them break her spirit. She had learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it, and she was not alone. Ethan remained her anchor. "Ignore them," he whispered. "Their fear is their problem, not yours. Remember what you can do." That evening, Lyra and Ethan decided to leave the station briefly, seeking the quiet of the nebula viewports. Floating in zero gravity, surrounded by the glowing clouds of dust and gas, Lyra felt the weight of judgment lift. The stars seemed closer here, almost within reach. "You're amazing," Ethan said softly. "You led when it mattered, and you grew stronger. Most beings never find that courage in a lifetime." Lyra smiled faintly. "I never thought anyone would see me for me. I've always been invisible. Until now." "You're not invisible anymore," Ethan said. "And you won't be again." But challenges were far from over. The following week, the council summoned Lyra and Ethan for a formal hearing. The enforcer who had first confronted them spoke with authority, detailing complaints about their bond, claiming it violated tradition and endangered station protocols. Lyra stood tall, her wings glinting with calm energy. "I understand your concerns," she said. "But our bond has only enhanced our abilities, allowed us to save lives, and demonstrated that cooperation between species can be a strength, not a threat." The council members murmured among themselves. Some nodded subtly, impressed by her eloquence and confidence. Others frowned, their distrust of humans and disabled aliens clouding their judgment. "You are courageous," a senior council member admitted, "but courage does not exempt one from rules." Lyra nodded respectfully. "I am not asking for exemption. I am asking for recognition of potential. My disability does not define my ability, and our bond does not harm anyone. It strengthens us both and benefits the station." The council remained silent for a moment, considering her words. Then the enforcer spoke sharply. "Potential does not erase precedent. You must sever this bond or face sanctions." Lyra's heart pounded, but she glanced at Ethan through the subtle connection of their bond. She could feel his confidence, his unwavering support. That alone gave her strength. "We will not sever the bond," she said firmly. "We will continue to demonstrate its value. If others cannot see it now, they will learn." The room fell into a tense silence. The council had not granted approval, but neither had it imposed punishment. Lyra knew this was only the beginning. Their actions had drawn attention, both admiration and hostility. The station would not forget them, and the challenges ahead would test their courage, trust, and skill. As they left the council chambers, Lyra felt a mixture of relief and determination. She had faced judgment, ridicule, and authority, and she had stood strong. For the first time, she understood that true strength came from belief in oneself and support from those who truly cared. That night, she and Ethan returned to the nebula viewports. Lyra spread her wings fully, feeling the subtle pulse of energy flowing through them. She could sense the connection with Ethan more clearly than ever. "You're ready for more," Ethan said softly. Lyra nodded. "I want to do more. I want to prove that being different is not a weakness. I want to show them, all of them, that courage, skill, and heart matter more than perfection." Ethan smiled. "And you will. Together we can face whatever the galaxy throws at us." Lyra hovered above the platform, looking out at the endless expanse of stars. Each twinkle reminded her of possibilities she had once thought unreachable. Her wings glowed faintly, filled with the energy of newfound purpose. She had been rejected by many, laughed at by some, and underestimated by almost all, but now she was ready to rise above. The galaxy awaited, full of challenges and adventures, and Lyra, the once rejected alien, would face it all, Not alone, but with a human who had chosen to see her for who she truly was. The bond between them was more than a connection. It was a promise of courage, trust, and shared destiny. For the first time in her life, Lyra did not feel invisible. She felt unstoppable. The galaxy beyond Aurora Station stretched in endless darkness, dotted with stars and glowing nebulae. For most aliens, this expanse was a place of wonder and fear, but for Lyra it had become a canvas for possibility. Her wings shimmered with a soft crystalline light as she hovered in the observation bay, feeling the gentle tug of the space currents. Beside her, Ethan floated, eyes calm and attentive, the bond between them humming like a steady heartbeat. "There's a mission," Ethan said, breaking the quiet. A human research vessel drifted near the Callista asteroid belt. Its crew is trapped inside, unable to navigate through the dangerous cluster. "If we wait too long, it could be destroyed." Lyra's eyes widened. The Callista belt was notorious across the galaxy for its unpredictable energy currents and dense fields of debris. Many experienced pilots avoided it entirely. We can do it?" she asked, a mix of fear and determination in her voice. Ethan nodded. "We can. Together. And with our bond, we can coordinate perfectly. You'll feel my thoughts, my instincts, and I'll feel yours. We'll navigate it as one." Lyra swallowed hard, her wings twitching with anticipation. "Then let's go." They moved quickly to a small, agile spacecraft stationed at the edge of Aurora. The ship's hull reflected the soft lights of the station, its design sleek and responsive. Lyra took the controls, her hands trembling slightly, while Ethan interfaced with the ship's navigation systems. The bond between them sharpened every sense. Lyra could feel the slightest pull of gravity from nearby asteroids and the subtle energy currents of the belt. Ethan guided her mind gently, providing reassurance and direction. As they approached the Callista belt, the sheer density of rocks and debris became apparent. Giant boulders floated precariously, their paths unpredictable. Sparks of energy flared between some of them, caused by friction against small meteorites. Many would have turned back at this sight, but Lyra felt a surge of courage. "Steady," Ethan whispered through the bond. "Trust the currents. Trust yourself." Lyra adjusted the ship's thrusters, feeling the energy flow around her wings. With each careful maneuver, they slipped between moving boulders, dodged energy flares, and advanced deeper into the belt. Her heart raced, but the bond amplified her confidence. She could anticipate Ethan's thoughts and he hers, like two minds functioning as one. Hours passed as they navigated the treacherous cluster. Finally, they spotted the research vessel, a small, battered ship spinning helplessly amidst the rocks. Its energy shields flickered, struggling to hold against minor collisions. Crew members inside waved frantically, hoping for rescue. "There they are," Lyra said, focusing on the ship's controls. "We have to stabilize them before the shields fail." Ethan extended his energy manipulation through the bond, creating subtle currents that pushed the asteroids away from the vessel. Lyra guided the ship alongside, matching its erratic movement. It was delicate work. One wrong move could crush them all. But together they moved with precision and grace. "Hold on," Lyra shouted as a small meteor hurtled toward the research ship. She angled her wings and the ship's shields to deflect it. The meteor bounced off harmlessly, spinning into space. The crew gasped, relief flooding their expressions. With the immediate danger avoided, Lyra gently guided the vessel toward a safe corridor within the asteroid belt. Ethan adjusted the energy currents, smoothing the path, allowing them to pass through without incident. The crew began to stabilize their own systems under Lyra's guidance, following her calm instructions. "You're incredible," one crew member said, eyes wide with awe. "How did you do this?" Lyra smiled faintly, her wings glowing brighter than ever. "I'm not doing it alone," she said. "We're doing it together." As they emerged from the Callista belt, the galaxy opened before them, vast and calm. The research vessel was safe, its crew cheering and thanking Lyra and Ethan. For the first time, Lyra felt the tangible impact of her courage and abilities. She had faced fear, navigated impossible obstacles, and emerged victorious, not because she was perfect, but because she refused to give up. But the mission did more than rescue a vessel. It captured the attention of other beings in the sector. Some aliens who had doubted her before began to recognize her skills. Small groups approached with questions, curiosity replacing fear. "You saved the ship," a green-eyed alien said cautiously. "And you're disabled?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, My wings don't work like most, but I've learned to trust myself, and to trust others who believe in me. The alien studied her for a moment before nodding slowly. Perhaps we judged too quickly. Even in this moment of recognition, Lyra knew not all would accept her. Prejudice and fear ran deep, especially among those who valued tradition over courage. But she had learned an important lesson. She could rise above rejection not by changing who she was, but by embracing her true self and her bond with Ethan. Back at Aurora Station, news of their success spread quickly. Holoplayers and data screens displayed images of Lyra hovering beside the research vessel, her wings radiant and her expression calm and focused. The public reaction was mixed. Many humans and sympathetic aliens celebrated her heroism, while some council members and traditionalists expressed unease. This is extraordinary," a small violet alien said to a colleague. "I never thought a disabled alien could achieve such skill. And yet here she is." "Yes," replied the colleague. "But the council will not approve easily. This bond, it challenges everything they believe." Lyra overheard the conversation and smiled faintly. She did not need universal approval. She only needed to continue proving that courage, intelligence, and heart mattered more than conformity. That evening, she and Ethan floated above the station in the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them, painting a canvas of infinite possibilities. "You were amazing today," Ethan said, his voice gentle through the bond. "You've grown so much in such a short time." Lyra glanced at him, her wings folding slightly. "I couldn't have done it without you." "The bond, it's more than a connection. It's like we share the same courage," Ethan smiled. "And it will keep growing. The more we trust each other, the stronger it becomes. Together we can face anything." Lyra's eyes glimmered with determination. She knew the journey ahead would be filled with challenges. The Council's suspicion, alien prejudice, and unknown dangers in the galaxy would test them repeatedly. But she had learned that strength came not from perfection, but from persistence, trust, and choice. For the first time, Lyra felt completely in control of her wings. She lifted higher, spinning gracefully in the zero-gravity chamber. The bond with Ethan pulsed warmly, guiding her movements and amplifying her abilities. Each flutter, each turn, each flight through the observation deck filled her with joy and confidence. "We've proven something today," she said softly. "That being different doesn't mean being weak." Ethan nodded. "Exactly. And the galaxy will see that too, one step at a time." As they rested gazing at the stars, Lyra felt a deep sense of purpose. Her dreams of exploring the galaxy were no longer distant fantasies. They were within reach. And with Ethan by her side, she would soar higher than she had ever imagined. The night stretched on, quiet and serene. Lyra's wings shimmered faintly, reflecting the starlight, a symbol of hope and perseverance. She had faced fear, rejection, and uncertainty, and she had risen above. She had discovered that courage was not measured by perfection, but by the willingness to act despite fear. Ethan reached out through the bond, his thoughts calm and reassuring. Lyra felt the steady pulse of his presence and smiled. She had once been rejected by everyone, but now, chosen by one, she was unstoppable. The galaxy awaited, full of mysteries, dangers, and adventures. And Lyra, the once rejected alien, would rise to meet them, her crystalline wings shimmering against the backdrop of stars, carrying her forward into a future she was finally ready to claim. The council chamber of Aurora Station loomed large and austere, its walls glowing faintly with embedded energy panels. Alien council members of various species sat in solemn rows, their expressions neutral but sharp. Lyra and Ethan floated just inside the chamber, their presence commanding attention. Word of their heroics in the Callista asteroid belt had reached the council, and now the final judgment awaited. The lead counselor, a tall, silver-scaled alien with luminous blue eyes, addressed them. "Lyra of the Crystal Wings, Ethan of the Human Expedition, you have attracted attention across the sector with your actions. Some hail your courage, while others question your adherence to protocol. Today, we decide whether your bond is acceptable." Lyra's wings shimmered softly, reflecting her calm determination. She could feel Ethan's presence steadying her through the bond. The whispers of doubt from previous encounters were still in the room, but she did not let them shake her. You have demonstrated skill and bravery, the counselor continued, but some members still fear that such a bond may challenge the traditions and safety of our station. How do you respond? Lyra took a deep breath. I understand your concerns, she said, but our bond has saved lives, strengthened abilities, and shown that cooperation between species can bring great benefit. My wings may be imperfect, but through trust and courage, I have achieved things many thought impossible. My disability does not define my potential. It is part of who I am, and together with Ethan I can protect and serve the galaxy, not harm it. A murmur went through the chamber. Some council members nodded thoughtfully, impressed by her confidence and clarity. Others frowned, holding tightly to tradition. The lead counselor regarded her silently, considering her words. Then the violet-skinned enforcer who had opposed them in the past spoke. Potential does not replace precedent, he said sharply. We cannot allow exceptions even for heroism. To accept this bond fully could weaken our structure and encourage disorder. Lyra's chest tightened, but she did not falter. She glanced at Ethan, feeling the surge of strength from their bond. Courage and skill are not exceptions. They are examples, she said firmly. I ask you not to fear what is different, but to see what can be achieved when beings choose to trust each other. The chamber fell silent. A senior council member, a luminescent alien with flowing tendrils, leaned forward. She speaks with reason and heart. Many of our members have witnessed the rescue mission in the Callista Belt. Their skills were undeniable. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our stance on bonding between species. After a tense pause, the lead counselor finally spoke. Very well. Lyra, Ethan, your bond is acknowledged and accepted. You may continue your cooperation and your actions will serve as an example for others. However, we caution you to maintain discipline and accountability. The galaxy is watching. Relief flooded Lyra. Her wings glowed brightly and she could feel the pride and warmth of Ethan through the bond. She had faced rejection, ridicule, and suspicion, and now she had gained recognition not just for herself, but for what she represented: courage, cooperation, and hope. As they exited the chamber, the crowds in the observation halls greeted them with awe. Some aliens cheered openly, while others offered hesitant applause. Many approached, curious and respectful, eager to learn how a disabled alien and a human could achieve such feats. You are remarkable, a green-eyed alien said softly. I doubted, but now I see. Strength is not always what it seems. Lyra smiled. Thank you. Courage and heart are more powerful than anyone imagines. Back in the nebula viewing chamber, Lyra and Ethan floated quietly, looking out at the galaxy. The stars shimmered in brilliant colors, stretching endlessly before them. All of this feels real, Lyra said, her voice soft. I never thought I would be seen, chosen, or recognized. Ethan smiled, his presence a steady warmth in her mind. You earned it. You didn't just survive, you rose above. You taught everyone that limits exist only if we let them. Lyra flexed her wings, feeling their newfound strength. I want to explore. I want to see planets no alien has ever touched, to experience wonders we can only imagine. And I want to help anyone who feels rejected, weak, or alone. I want them to know they can rise too. Ethan's bond pulsed warmly. Then let's do it. Together we can go further than anyone has gone. The galaxy is vast, but we are ready. Lyra's eyes gleamed with determination. She could feel every possibility stretching before her. The nebula clouds of distant systems, the swirling gas giants, the ice planets shimmering with auroras. Her wings vibrated softly, humming with energy, as if the universe itself recognized her courage. Over the next weeks, Lyra and Ethan became symbols of hope across Aurora Station and beyond. Humans and aliens who had once dismissed her now sought guidance, inspired by her bravery and her partnership with Ethan. She trained other disabled aliens, teaching them to trust in their abilities, to seek help when needed, and to believe that courage could overcome prejudice. One day, a small group of aliens approached her, their expressions hesitant but hopeful. Can you teach us to fly like you? To trust ourselves? One asked. Lyra smiled, her wings stretching in a graceful arc. Of course, she said. We all have strength inside us. Sometimes we just need someone to believe in us and for us to believe in ourselves. Ethan hovered beside her, proud. And the bond? It's a tool, not a crutch. It helps us grow together, not replace our own courage. Lyra nodded. Yes, and it shows that unity between beings, regardless of species, can achieve greatness. As months passed, Lyra's reputation spread across the galaxy. She participated in daring missions, explored uncharted systems, and helped beings in need. Her wings, once a source of shame, became a symbol of perseverance and potential. The bond with Ethan grew stronger with every adventure, their coordination flawless, their trust unbreakable. Yet through all the fame and recognition, Lyra remained humble. She never forgot the days of rejection, the moments of fear or the loneliness that had once consumed her. Those experiences became her strength, guiding her to uplift others who had been cast aside or doubted. One evening, she and Ethan returned to the observation deck. The nebula glowed softly, painting the chamber in shades of violet and gold. Lyra spread her wings fully, feeling the gentle pulse of energy that always accompanied their bond. Look at all of this, Ethan said, his voice calm and content. All the stars, all the planets, and they're waiting for us. Lyra smiled, a sense of peace filling her. I never thought I would belong anywhere, she said softly, but now I belong here, with you, with the galaxy. I am seen, chosen, and capable. Ethan reached out through the bond, and we will continue to rise together. The galaxy has challenges, yes, but also endless wonder, and we are ready. Lyra tilted her wings, catching the starlight. Then let's go further. Let's explore, discover, and help. Let's show that courage, heart, and unity matter more than anything else. With a powerful push, Lyra lifted higher, spinning gracefully through the observation chamber. Ethan followed, their movements synchronized, each anticipating the other's thoughts and instincts. The light from the nebula reflected on their forms, casting them in a halo of energy and hope. For Lyra, the journey had transformed her. She was no longer the alien who had been rejected by all. She was a beacon of courage, a symbol of resilience, and a living example of what could be achieved when beings chose to trust and believe in each other. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and the galaxy waited. Lyra's crystalline wings shimmered brilliantly, a testament to her strength, her choices, and her bond with Ethan. Together they would rise to face whatever adventures and challenges the universe presented. And for the first time, Lyra knew without doubt that being chosen and choosing to rise could change not only her life, but the lives of countless others. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders alike. But Lyra, the once rejected alien, and Ethan, the human who had seen her worth, were ready. Together they would soar higher than anyone could imagine, their story inspiring generations to come. Lyra spread her wings one last time, catching the starlight, feeling the bond pulse warmly. She had been rejected, she had been doubted, she had been alone. But now, chosen and powerful, she was unstoppable. The stars shimmered and the galaxy waited, and Lyra, with Ethan by her side, would answer its call.